Welcome to Home Biz Tax Talk. My name is Lysandra Everett. I am the Home Biz Tax Lady, where I help home business owners win the tax game. Home Biz Tax Talk airs Monday through Friday, and when you tune into my show, you're going to hear about topics that are important to the home business community. But right now, the big talk of the town is all of these executive orders that have been issued by the president, and one of the big things is the payroll tax, right? The executive order says, okay, we're going to delay payroll taxes through the end of the year. Now, well, defer is the actual word that was used. Now, understand that this hasn't all exactly happened yet because there's a question of the legality of it all, okay? I don't do that part. So we'll just have to wait and see how the government responds to that. So as far as I know, everybody's payroll taxes is still going to be withheld until they figure this whole thing out. But I really want to talk about the impact of all of that, should it happen, and what it means for you. And I want to have this talk now because if we start to really understand what the impact is if this does happen, then you will know how to respond in your own household. This is how we have to think as tax-paying Americans. Like, how does all of this impact my household? How do I need to respond? So let's talk a little bit about what payroll taxes are. Payroll taxes are your Social Security and your Medicare taxes, okay? These are the funds that are withheld from your paychecks, or if you're self-employed, you're paying that self-employment tax, it goes to your Social Security and Medicare, okay? Now, to give you an idea of how Social Security works. When Social Security, let's see, back in 1960, there were 5.1 workers to one beneficiary. So there was a lot of Social Security tax money coming in for that one beneficiary. 2005, we dropped to 3.3 workers per one beneficiary. It is projected by 2040 that we will drop to 2.1 workers per beneficiary, okay? So there's a lot less money that's coming into the Social Security system. Now, understand too that but Social Security is essentially the cash cow, right? Because it's taking in more money than what it spends. That's how Social Security was successful. Social Security is the money that you're supposed to be able to get from your government. Once you hit 62, they try to raise it to like 70 or whatever. And you should be getting a statement. Before I forget this part, you should be getting a statement every year from the Social Security. You have to go online to sign up for it that shows you what your Social Security contributions are. Okay, and it'll tell you if you stop working today, once you reach age 62, you should receive X amount per month. Okay, so if you haven't signed up for that, you totally need to go do that so that you can track your own Social Security contributions. Okay, so but Social Security is the cash cow. When you look at the debt, our national debt, as the latest number I saw is that the U.S. was $26 trillion in debt. $5.73 trillion is held between Social Security and other retirement funds. So Social Security holds $2.93 trillion of the U.S. national debt. That means they have gone into the Social Security piggy bank to pay for all of this stuff, okay? Office of Personnel Management and Military Retirement between, let's see, Office of Personnel Management, $929 billion, almost $1 trillion. Military Retirement, $913 billion, okay? And then Medicare holds $226 billion in the national debt. So the government, our government, has been going to the Social Security and retirement funds, robbing the piggy bank, okay? So if the government defaults on these treasuries, then everybody's retirement is going out the window, all right? That's what this means. So when you look at, withholding or deferring these taxes, then there's no money going into the piggy bank to turn around and then pay for all of this stuff. Now, again, that deferred does not mean forgiven. Okay, so what that means is that they say, okay, we're not going to withhold these taxes now. I do believe it was said through December. And then, but once you file your taxes, though, then you'll have to make up for that, because that whole forgiving the payroll tax thing, that is what is questionable as to whether or not the president has the authority to do. That's a congressional act because it deals with the money. Okay, so to say that, these payroll taxes will be forgiven, that's a really huge question mark, you guys. So even if at this point, if he has the power, if the president has the power to defer the taxes, that doesn't mean he has the power to forgive the taxes. Okay, there's a big difference. So if that is not forgiven, that delay means you got to make up for that money come tax time. Now, the other thing that was said was that, okay, that the deficit from those payroll taxes will be made up from the general fund. Well, what makes up the general fund? Okay, so the general fund is made up 50% of income tax, 36% payroll tax. So you're talking about 36% of the general fund not being collected, but we're going to use the general fund to make up this deficit. Okay, 7% corporate tax and 8% excise tax. Now, so what you're saying is that 36% of the general fund is not coming, because understand that with I forget whether it was the CARES Act, the HEALS Act, the HEROES Act. We got all these acts going on right now, but employers already have a deferment for their part of the payroll tax. That's already in place to happen. That is one of those acts. Okay, I forget which one because we got too much going on. Okay, so the employers already have that deferment in place. But now you're talking about the employee side of that. So this money is now not coming in. So to say that the deficit would be covered from the general fund, this math doesn't add up to me. Okay, I'm sure there are mathematicians that are smarter than me, but on a basic 1 + 1 = 2 scale, this dog don't hunt. Okay, so now, so let's look at the impact of it all in your house. All right, so we already know that millions of people have lost their jobs. Millions of people are drawing unemployment. The federal portion of the unemployment has, that has ended. The president signed an executive order to continue that even at a smaller amount. Okay. Unemployment is taxable income. A lot of people have not had their taxes withheld from this unemployment. Okay. Now, people then, let's say you do go back to work and then you have payroll taxes again deferred. Not forgiven yet, deferred. That's also going to be due when you file your taxes. Okay. So what is that going to look like when you file? And especially the population that depends on those earned income tax credit refunds. Earned income tax credit was designed to help keep our most vulnerable out of poverty. Okay, I know people got all kinds of opinions about earned income tax credit. That helps to keep food on people's table. That is probably the most money that they'll see throughout an entire year. All right. And just so you know, the Center of Budget and Policy Priorities did a study that showed that people who received earned income tax credit, they use that money to catch up on bills. They pay rent, they pay gas and electric, they pay off debt. Okay. That's how people use that money. So, so now when you're talking about filing taxes, unemployment is not considered earned income. Okay, so your earned income tax credit refund may already be reduced. Number one. Number two, if you have not withheld taxes from your unemployment, if you have not saved taxes from your unemployment, that's going to further reduce your refund and even possibly cause you to owe. Then, if you have these Social Security taxes that are deferred, okay, if you got to pay those back at tax time, that's going to further put you in a vulnerable position when it comes down to tax debt and these tax refunds. Okay, those are the things that I'm putting together in my head and wondering how exactly is this going to work out. Okay, because until I see some legislation that says that this unemployment is not taxable, it's taxable. I have not seen that yet. Okay, just haven't. And so, not knowing how this deferment thing is going to work, the only thing that, as a tax professional, the only thing that I can assume is that when you file your taxes, that tax is going to be due. That's not helping anyone. The only other thing that can happen is that if some other tax revenue is raised in order to cover this deficit. I don't know how that's going to happen either, because previous presidents have had a delay or deferral or something with payroll taxes. I know George Bush did it, and I think President Obama did it. But they also had taxes in other areas to cover that deficit. So where there's money that's not coming in, something else has got to cover it, right? That's not what we see here. We don't have these details yet. So no, none of us really knows how this is going to work. Nobody knows. I don't care who you are. I don't care what kind of magic 8-ball you got. Nobody really knows. But right now, just looking at all of this, the math doesn't add up to me. And if you are the working American, like we all are, whether you got your small business, you got your job, whatever, I'm telling you, you better be saving some money. If these Social Security tax deferrals actually do happen, please, oh please, save some money until we know how it's going to impact you tax-wise. Because the last thing you want to do is wind up in tax debt over something that was really supposed to help you, but then it winds up hurting you in the end. So there are no easy answers. I've seen a lot of people, oh, it's the right thing to do, it's the wrong thing to do. You know what? Nobody knows. But I'm telling you that if this deferment happens with these payroll taxes, I'm really going to need for you to set that money aside, save it up as best as possible until we know how it's going to impact you at tax time. That's the only thing that I can say as a tax professional looking at all of this math that just does not add up to me. We're still waiting on more details, which nobody seems to have right now. So I know a lot of myself and my tax pro friends, we've gotten lots of questions from our client base. And honestly, we just don't know. We really just don't know. Okay. So yeah, so that's it for today's episode of Home Biz Tax Talk. Again, we air Monday through Friday, and you can come right here to get your questions answered about your home business taxes. All right, have a great day, and I will see you all next time. Bye.